What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily NHL power play or any of the plays I have on the board on Thursday, make sure that you jump on board. Remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout. Get 15% off your purchase. For me on Thursday, it's going to be strictly NHL. For the most part, I mean, unless I see something else that jumps off the page elsewhere. But yeah, I really like today's NHL card. We unfortunately lost the power play yesterday with the Red Wings. It was the only game we got wrong on the wraparound, but it's fine. You know, we're going to bounce back today. Like I said, like a lot of spots on the board. So make sure that you check that out. Again, use that promo code PICK at checkout, get 15% off your purchase. But I want to mention, we also have our Inner Circle VIP services. Now, they're not for everyone. They are for people that are making big bets, people with big bankrolls who are looking to take their betting to the next level and are looking for that one-on-one concierge style service. Now, you can call or text the number that's in the description of this video below, but remember, this is our most expensive premium product, so keep that in mind before texting the number. But if this is for you, this is an awesome product, and I can assure you guys you're going to absolutely love it. But we're here to talk about the 12-game NHL card that we have on Thursday. You know, like I said, lots of spots here, lots of heavy favorites. We're going to have to try and navigate through them, but let's not waste any more time. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game comes to us from the Benchmark International Arena, where the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the Chicago Blackhawks. And, you know, I get why, Tampa Bay would be heavily favored just because they're the Lightning. However, we're catching a decent price here, at least on the plus 1.5, with a Chicago team that's been feisty all season long. They're 3-2-2 this season, 7-0 on the puck line with a few outright victories. And, they lost to the defending champion Florida Panthers on the road on opening night. Losses to Boston, Montreal, Vancouver in a shootout, wins over St. Louis, Utah. Some decent teams they beat. Now, Tampa Bay, like I said, are a good team, and they're not going to continue to struggle like this forever. Andrei Vasilevsky, again, not going to continue to struggle like this. But this is a Tampa Bay team that is one win over Boston and really one good, period away from being 0-6 coming into this game. So, for me, I just think the Lightning are laying the juice here just because of reputation and sort of the stigma that's attached to the Chicago Blackhawks, where I don't think it's there. I think the Blackhawks are going to be a team that's going to be competitive. I said it before. They're not going to win a ton of games this season, but I think they're going to be highly competitive, and we're going to be able to catch value spots with them, and I think this is one of them. So I'm going to take the Blackhawks here, plus the 1.5 in this one. Now we head to the UBS Arena for this game between the New York Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. And again, as I said, the Detroit Red Wings really let us down, and they are on a back-to-back here, but they have won the last 4 matchups here against New York Islanders, and the New York Islanders are on a great run themselves. They've won 3 straight, but they beat Edmonton, who's on a bit of a slump. They beat Ottawa on the road, who I'm still not all that impressed with, and San Jose, who's still winless. And now you welcome Detroit to town, who's coming off a 5-game win streak. Yeah, again, they stumbled in that game, but they do, I think, have their more reliable option in goal here in Cam Talbot. And I just think this is a true coin flip game. So to get a decent amount of plus money here, around plus 115, plus 120, easy for me to say, with the Red Wings, I think it's where I want to be here. Like I said, I see this as a true coin flip game. So to get plus money, sign me up. Give me Detroit in this one. Now we head to the TD Garden for this matchup between the Boston Bruins and the Anaheim Ducks. And, another matchup where I like the road team here. You're going to hear that from me a lot today. The Boston Bruins, now they've lost 5 in a row. And while, I can talk to you about how, the Boston Bruins have played a lot of quality teams in that stretch. Tampa Bay, Vegas, Colorado, Utah, and Florida. They've still lost 5 in a row, and they're kind of back to looking like the team that's kind of stumbled their way through, the final part of last season and really went on a heavy skid down the stretch. And, now they take on an Anaheim team that I think has some upside. And, you look at Anaheim, they picked up the 5-2 win on the road over Nashville, looked really solid in that one. For me, it's just a fade of the Bruins, as a favorite in this matchup again, where we're catching either even money or a little bit of plus money with an Anaheim Ducks team that I feel is the slightly better team right now. So I'm going to roll with the Anaheim Ducks on the money line in this one. Now we're going to the Canadian Tire Center for this matchup between the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia Flyers. And, a game where I just don't think that the Ottawa Senators should be laying this kind of price. I get it. Ottawa has been, much stronger at home going back to last season. A lot of folks came into this year thinking that the Sens would be kind of a team that would start firing out of the gate. And, maybe there's still upside for the Senators to be had. I mean, we're only 7 games into the season. However, we're still talking about the Senators who have just been struggling. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. The Flyers are coming off back-to-back wins at home. They battled the likes of Carolina tough on the road, Florida on the road. I mean, they took Carolina to overtime in that game. And I just like the fight that I've seen from the Flyers, especially at this price, a lot more than what I've seen from the Senators laying juice with them just because they're at home. So I'll take a shot here with the Flyers and the plus money on the road in this one. Now we're going to Madison Square Garden for this game between the New York Rangers and the San Jose Sharks. And this is another hefty price that I do not want to be laying with the home favorite. The San Jose Sharks have not done themselves many favors. I mean, this is still a team that's 0-4-2 on the year, still searching for their first win. But they were really competitive in that game against the New York Islanders. They've already taken 3 teams to either overtime or to 1-goal games down the stretch. And I mean, we've seen, the New York Rangers at home have been disappointing. I mean, this is a Rangers team that scored 1 goal at home so far this season through 4 games. 0-4 straight up at home. I'm not laying a price like this with the New York Rangers just because they're the New York Rangers at home and they are the better team. I get it. But, the San Jose Sharks, they're not going to hit every game. They're going to be one of the worst teams in hockey this season. But I still think they're going to win 20 games at the very least. And I think that they're at least going to compete in this game. Like I said, nothing about this game, even though the Rangers should win this game comfortably, nothing about this game says to me that I want to be laying a puck line or a heavy price with the New York Rangers here. I think it's just much better to just take a shot here on the San Jose Sharks, either plus 1.5, or if you feel froggy, you want to put something on the money line, you can. But for me, it's going to be San Jose, mainly as a fade at this price with New York more than anything else. Now we head to the Amerant Bank Arena for this matchup between the Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I like the Penguins here plus the 1.5. The Panthers, a bit of a heavier favorite here, being at home, and I understand why. They're still your defending Cup champions. They're coming off a 5-game road trip, and we've seen this season they're 3-0 at home. However, only one of those games they covered the puck line, and the 2 games that they didn't were against teams like Philadelphia and Chicago, teams that Florida should have easily beaten as heavy favorites, kind of in this same price range. The Pittsburgh Penguins, you can make a strong case that the Pittsburgh Penguins are the best team that the Florida Panthers have faced at home this season. The Penguins 5-2 straight up, 6-1 against the puck line on the road. They've only been an underdog in a few spots this season. They've been favorites in their last couple of games against Vancouver and San Jose, but we've seen this team be very, very competitive, win a lot of games, and they're 3-1 straight up on the road. I'm going to take the Penguins here plus the 1.5. I'm going to put a little bit on Penguins money line as well. Now we're going to the Bridgestone Arena for this matchup between the Nashville Predators and the Vancouver Canucks. And again, going with the road team here. I know that not all the road teams are probably going to win on Thursday's card, but if we're going game by game, I like the road team here too because it's a fate of Nashville more than anything else. A Nashville team that's now lost 4 games in a row. Vancouver, they just had their 3-game win streak snapped, but let's face it, the Vancouver Canucks have been very impressive on this road trip so far. It's the final game of the road trip, but again, nothing about Nashville in this spot makes me want to back the Predators at a coin flip price against a Vancouver team that I think right now is just playing the better hockey. The Nashville Predators, once again, just look like they're going to be one of the bigger disappointments in the NHL this season, kind of following up the act that they played last year. So give me the Canucks in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we head to the Enterprise Center for this game between the St. Louis Blues and the Utah Mammoth. And to be honest, I didn't like what I saw from the St. Louis Blues. They were my play of the day against the Los Angeles King in the game they lost 2-1 in overtime. They've now alternated wins and losses in each of their last 4 games. But this is a St. Louis team that was wildly inconsistent, and while they were much better at home last season, they've started the year just 1-2-1 at home this year. And Utah, they've won 4 straight. Now, yes, you could sort of have the sticking point that all those games were at home, where they are 4-0 this season, but I still like what I've seen from Utah. And I think they can carry some of that positive play onto the road. They do have a road win over Nashville. They battled Colorado tough. They lost to a Chicago team that, like I said, I still think has a lot of upside. But for me, I think this is just a fade of the St. Louis Blues at this price, just given their inconsistencies. And the fact that I think the Mammoth are playing the better hockey right now by a fair margin. So give me the Mammoth in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we head to the Canada Life Center for this matchup between the Winnipeg Jets and the Seattle Kraken. And I'm going to go with a little bit of a different route in this one. I am going to take the Kraken plus the goal and a half. It's a reasonable price, around minus 130, because Seattle has been highly competitive. The last 4 meetings have been 1-goal games. And if you go back even further, 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have been 1-goal games. So Seattle just has a history of playing Winnipeg tough, despite Winnipeg's, just dominance over the NHL last season. But as well, the Seattle Kraken are 5-2 on the puck line this season. Now, yeah, they've lost back-to-back games against Philly and Washington on the road by a combined score of 9-3. And Winnipeg's won 5 in a row. But, I still think that Seattle can battle in this game. And like I said, just given the trend between these two teams, I got to take the Kraken plus the goal and a half. I'm also going to take the Jets to win by 1 goal. So just a sprinkle on a prop on the side. You can catch it around plus 220. So I think that's a great way to look in this game. Kraken plus 1.5 and the Jets to win exactly by 1 goal. Now we're going to the American Airlines Center for a matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings. And finally, for some of you who may say this, I'm taking a home team. I'm taking the Dallas Stars here. I just think the Dallas Stars are heads and shoulders the better team here, despite the 3-game losing streak they've had. They lost to Vancouver. They lost to Columbus. They even lost to St. Louis on the road. But Los Angeles is not going to impress me with 1 win over the St. Louis Blues on the road. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll probably say it all season long, that I think that this is still a Los Angeles team that is going to be undergoing some heavy regression when it comes to their defense and their goaltending in 2025-26. They now have, their leader in Anze Kopitar on the injured reserve. That's a big loss for them. The Dallas Stars are still one of the more balanced teams, one of the more complete teams in the NHL as far as I'm concerned. I think the Dallas Stars get the job on the money line in this one. It's a reasonable price. Give me Dallas here to get the job done. Now we head to Rogers Place for this game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal on the back-to-back here, but I'm still going to rock with them plus the goal and a half. I'll put a little bit on Canadiens money line around plus 190. Again, it just boils down to not wanting to pay the name brand tax with the Edmonton Oilers just because they're your 2-time defending Western Conference champions. They've been slow starters the last couple years after making it to the after making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. We saw them lose to the Calgary Flames. They won back-to-back games, but then lost 3 in a row, and then needed overtime to get by the Ottawa Senators. Montreal, they're coming off a back-to-back game themselves, an overtime game on the second half of the back-to-back here, but they've won 6 of their last 7 games. They're one of the hottest teams out of the gate in the NHL this season, and again, I just think this hefty price is because you're catching the Edmonton Oilers at home. But I'm going to go with the Canadiens here plus the goal and a half. I'll put a little bit on Canadiens money line. And our final game on Thursday's card takes us to the Ball Arena, where the Colorado Avalanche take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Went back and forth on this one because these are 2 of the teams that I think are going to be the best in their respective conferences this season. Potential Stanley Cup Finals preview here. But I'm leaning towards Colorado, just being at home. We've seen this Colorado team really take the stick out and be a lot of teams at home this season. Their 2 losses have both been in extra time. Carolina, they finally took an L for the first time when they were in Vegas. And the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche have, a thread in common as far as I'm concerned. Great home ice advantage, as the Golden Knights have had, basically since their inception into the NHL about a decade ago. The Avalanche, like I said, have one of the tougher home environments to deal with in the NHL at the Ball Arena. They're usually a very fantastic home team. You can say the same thing about the Carolina Hurricanes, but I think that bodes well for Colorado here. So I'm going to take the Avalanche on the money line to round things out. That's it. That's all your NHL action for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily NHL power play, make sure you head to Pickdawgz.com and remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout. Get 15% off your purchase. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon.